Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the news briefing for this Wednesday. We're going to go ahead and get started with our first topic, which is body art health department inspections. So what should consumers know about health inspections for local body art businesses? These are businesses such as tattoos and piercing parlors. Any facility where body art is done requires a health permit. The health department is currently completing inspections of these facilities, and they're going to make public the operators who comply. We have Maria Ferdin here with our health department to talk about these inspections and why they're so important. Hi, Maria.
Good afternoon, Maya. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share a little bit about what we're doing with body art, our body art program, and also to share with the public how to find a permitted facility and get their body art services in a safe environment. So that's what we're trying to do this year. Can I share my screen? Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is my first slide. Can you see this? Okay, great. My name is Maria Ferdin. I'm with the Environmental Health Services, and the Environmental Health Bureau. I'm the supervisor for solid waste services, and one of my programs is the body art inspection program. And to give you a fundamental idea of who gets permitted in this program.
Maria, why don't you put it on view rather than preview?
How's that?
Good.
Okay. So who needs a permit? Anyone who provides body art services actually inks the pigment into your skin. That person needs to be permitted with environmental health. And the actual facility itself, where you go to get your service, that needs to be permitted. And also we have ear piercing facilities they use a machine, a place where you, like Claire's, for example, they also need to be permitted. And any temporary body art convention that happens in Monterey County, that event needs to be permitted, and everybody in the event who's providing services, those individuals need to be permitted. So it's a fairly wide group of people who need to be permitted. And by definition, I have here in down below, what is body art? That includes tattoos, body piercing, branding, and permanent cosmetics. So if you wanted to get permanent lip color or eyeliner, that individual is part of the body art program, and she or he also needs to be permitted. So last year, in 2022 and 2023 fiscal year, we had 53 body art facilities and 112 registered body art operators in 5 ear piercing facilities. These are all the individuals and facilities that were permitted last year. So this is the baseline we're going for this year. So, and also to give you a little history about our program, in addition to the annual, the frequency of the permits is annual. Every year we do this. And the inspections themselves, they fall within the fourth quarter, thereabouts, the third quarter of the fiscal year, when we go out and actually do the inspections for these facilities and operators. But we've had the program for quite a while. In fact, Monterey County had one of the first local codes for body art, where the state did not have regulations. In fact, it took quite a while, 6-7 years, before the state provided the scope of prescriptions for facilities and operators. So in 2011, the state went ahead and passed the regulation for body art, and then that superseded our own local ordinance. So we've been doing it for quite a while. However, this year we are making an effort to focus the inspection period for a very narrow window. Still enough time to get scheduled, get inspected, do a re-inspection if necessary, but also this effort is has a dual purpose. In addition to providing a higher level service for the body art community so that they can plan for their inspections, do re-inspections if necessary so they could come into compliance. We also want to make an effort for the public if they're deciding, where should I go to get body art services? I want to make it easier for them to find a compliant facility to go to. And so for this, in that effort, what we're doing this year is we have a inspection schedule for this year. October 27th of this week is the deadline to schedule an inspection, the facility and the operator. November 3rd is the deadline to complete those inspections. Routine inspections, re-inspections, coming into compliance, all of that should come to, it has a deadline of November 3rd. And then in the week of November 6th, Environmental Health is going to provide make a press release and provide a list of all the facilities that are compliant, along with those operators who operated those facilities. So this is an effort to make very clear that if you want to provide services in Monterey County for body art, you have to be registered with us and have to be in compliance with the California Safe Body Art Act. And we will also provide that list in our various social media outlets, and we'll revise it or update it the first week of January, because we're always receiving applications for new facilities. So if the public had a question, well, how do I know this facility is not on the list? So how do I know if it's compliant? Every year, this is an example of a permit that is valid for this year. This year, all our permits are blue. We change the color every year, and the public, what they can focus on in the permit, in a facility, this permit should be posted right in the lobby area, and what the public can look at is whether or not it's valid. And if they look at the upper right-hand corner, you can see that the date is between, let's see, 6/30/23 to 6/30/24. So that's the fiscal year. So that means that this permit is valid for the fiscal year, the coming fiscal year. And you can see that they paid $788 for this permit. And their name, the facility's name is right here. And you can tell that it is for a body art permit. So this permit should be displayed very prominently in the lobby of the facility. That they'll know that this facility has, at the very least, paid their annual permit. The other thing that the public can do is to request to see their inspection report. That is a public document. And if they're not on the list, but they have an inspection report that shows that they're in compliance, that means that they're in compliance. What we will do at the next update of the compliance list, we'll include them. Sometimes what happens is that facilities come into compliance after a deadline, or it's a new facility and we haven't had a chance to update the, we can see an opportunity where a new facility comes in and we haven't yet updated the compliance list. So the compliance list is a new thing for this year, and we're hoping to make it a standard practice for the coming years. And also, if the public had a question about an operator, everyone who provides body art services actually puts ink in the skin, is required to register with us, and then we issue a card. It's a body art card, and it's always in blue. It shouldn't be white like this. This is just a mock-up. And you'll see it's been issued by Monterey County, and it'll have a signature, either myself or one of my staff members. And it is a body art operator's card. It'll have their name, their operator number, their permit number, and a sticker. This sticker changes and coordinates with the permits every year. So it's blue. And this 24 means that this individual paid their annual fee and they're good for the fiscal year. Additionally, operators must be operating in a permitted facility. They cannot operate in a home. So with the list that we'll provide, the week of November 6th, you'll see that compliant facilities will have lists of individuals who are also compliant as operators. So that hopefully will clarify a lot of mystery about which facility and which operators are compliant. So I'm hoping that we get a lot of questions about it. I'm happy to answer them. And that's that. I'll stop sharing.
Thanks very much, Maria, for that walkthrough. I think a lot of people aren't aware of the role the health department plays in this. If does anyone have any questions for Maria? You can certainly raise your hand, or just ask your question, or you can put your question in chat. The question I have for you, Maria, is how willing are operators? Are they really stepping up and they understand the need for the permits? What is the feedback that you get from our local operators?
Well, you know, when we started this program back in 2004, there was a sense that the body yacht operators and the facility owners really wanted to elevate their profession. They wanted to become professional, and this inspection process, the permitting process, you know, did that for the large part. And over time, what we're seeing is people coming in and wanting to get permitted and inspected. So I'd say our rate of compliance is fairly high. However, toward the end of our, it happens to all programs where we're calling people and getting them scheduled, and sometimes it's always a challenge to get them in. With body art operators, they're very dynamic as far as mobility. They will come in for a certain time, then leave, and then we won't know that. So oftentimes when we go into a facility, we're looking for somebody and they're not there. That's what we see often. There are occasional unusual non-compliance scenarios, and that's what we're trying to capture. For the most part, operators want to be compliant. They want to have a clean, safe environment for them to invite the public. It is a liability for them for not to have that. So overall, I'd say that our compliance is fairly high, and I'm very happy about that. Where we have issues are those who just don't want to do it. And so we're trying to capture that as well.
But are you finding that? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Luckily for us, it's a very small minority.
Well, that's good news. Are you finding that consumers are liking the idea of knowing that there's an inspection and that it's a safe environment to get their chosen work done?
Overall, yes. But I'm also seeing that maybe there might be confusion about where to go. You can Google tattoos Monterey and get a list of facilities in Monterey. But I wonder if I don't know if the public really knows that they can look at the inspection report. They can ask to see it. So that part of it, along with a comprehensive list of facilities who just meet the basic requirement of the California Safe Body Art Act, I think that would help tremendously.
Fantastic. Thanks, Maria. Thanks so much for walking us through this. And I know we're all going to be looking forward to the information that comes out and getting it out to the public. Are there any additional questions for Maria before we let her go and we move on to our next subject? I am seeing none. Thanks again, Maria, very much. Really interesting topic.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much, Maria.
Well, you all may have heard that Vallarta Supermarkets is opening here in Salinas, and that means more than just more shopping options. It means more jobs are in our area, and Vallarta needs 160 employees, and they are working with our workforce development in that hiring process. There are job openings at all levels. This is a great time for someone who is looking for work to come to an in-person job fair tomorrow. And we're very pleased to have Laura Kershner from our workforce development to talk about this job fair that is coming up tomorrow. And she has brought along a very important friend, James Lodenquai. He is the HR director for Vallarta Supermarkets. And we can just talk about all the great hiring that's going on there. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much. We're excited to be here today. Vallarta is opening next month in Salinas. Their grand opening. Don't want to steal any James thunder, but it's November 15th. Tomorrow we'll be holding a great recruitment job fair for them here at America's Job Center, 344 Salinas Street from 2 to 5 p.m. They're recruiting for all positions, experience and no experience, and we're just thrilled to be able to help them. We've been in a partnership with them for the last, I'd say probably 2 or 3 months anyway, making the facility available for interviews and recruitments and whatnot. We're thrilled to have them. James is here with us today. He's the HR director for Vallarta, which started in Southern California 30-some years ago, and they're now expanding to our area, and they will be inhabiting the old Kmart facility here in Salinas. So it's an exciting opportunity. We want to invite people to come out tomorrow for our job fair at 344 Salinas Street from 2 to 5 p.m. Excited to help.
And James, I'm hoping you might jump in here and talk about some of the employees that you're looking for, the type of work. Some people may wonder, am I underqualified? Am I overqualified? Is there a job for me with you?
Well, thank you for having me on here. Just to give you some background, we have been functioning for over 35 years as a local neighborhood grocery store. We do carry a lot of Hispanic products. However, we are open to the general community, and we want to have a diverse employment profile group as well. So we are hiring all levels of experience, ranging from courtesy clerks to bag groceries, cash handlers, cake decorators, meat cutters, produce clerks, grocery clerks. Every aspect of a retail grocery chain, we are looking to bring individuals in. This will be one of our further north stores we have ever opened, and we are transplanting a chosen few of our staff that have worked in our current stores. However, we're going to be hiring a great percentage of Salinas and local area residents to offer the customer service we want. As customers will come in to see, we will have a very vibrant working environment. We are looking for individuals that have friendly smiles, willing to help out in any area, and that will have the opportunity to grow. In fact, we'll be opening a second store in Watsonville, which is about 30 minutes north of Salinas. So we're going to be leveraging a lot of the employees in Salinas to say, hey, now that you've learned, let's have an opportunity for you to promote. So a lot of the staff in Salinas will have the opportunity to open a new store in Watsonville as well. So this is a great stepping stone for anyone that wants to learn the basics of retail grocery and can excel in the retail grocery industry.
Well, everybody eats, so this is a great business to be in. Can you talk a little bit about why Vallarta has focused in Salinas? Because here you are in Salinas, now you're looking at Watsonville. What makes this area so attractive to you?
Well, we opened up Oxnard, California about 15 years ago, and we opened 2 stores there. We opened 2 stores in Santa Maria, and a lot of industry there's agricultural in those areas. We found that there's a food desert that we want to fill. We wanted to go to communities that need us, first of all, and secondly, where we can give back to the communities in which we service. And we identified the old Kmart in the Salinas area with an opportunity to provide not only excellent quality product, but also excellent customer service. Salinas was primed about 2 or 3 years ago. We looked into it and we said, this is the place we want to put roots in and grow. And a lot of times when the agricultural communities, they don't have a supporting supermarket. And so that's why Salinas was very attractive to us, because we want to interact with not only main communities, but also more agricultural industries communities as well.
And we live in a place where everything grows. Are you able to get direct, would you be able to get more of the local produce in the store, or how does your chain work?
There are opportunities. We do partner with local agricultural communities to bring in more localized product. We do have access to, as a lot of other grocery chains all over the world. However, we do partner with a lot of the organic community farms. So it's an opportunity. I wouldn't say we have areas specifically in our store that say this is locally grown, but we do partner with a lot of the communities to get the products into our stores.
So this question might be for you, James, or for you, Laura. If someone is looking at Vallarta for a job opportunity, what kind of growth opportunity is there for someone who say, well, I'm not good enough to be a checker, or I don't know what else to do, but I could start somewhere? I'll
answer that. So some of the background, I've been with the company for 22 years. So I've seen the company grow. A lot of the store directors and key management roles, they all started as bag clerks in Vallarta. So we do look at a lot of internal growth for opportunities. A lot of them became cashiers, front-end managers, grocery staff, to the point now where they may be the assistant store director or the meat manager. And the demographics of our employees have been about 12 to 15 years is the average lifespan that we've found with a lot of our employees. There are some high turnover positions, such as collecting carts, courtesy clerks, bagging groceries. But for the most part, the employees that find satisfaction in growing in a store, they'll become more lead roles, and they're averaging 12 to 15 years of employment with Vallarta. So that gives you an idea of our long-term growth and success of our employees. So Laura, what should people have for tomorrow? What should they bring with them for this in-person fair?
You know, if they have a resume readily available, I think that would be helpful. If not, I think it's okay anyway. But definitely, if you have a resume, that's great. Be looking your best at the job fair. You are presenting yourself as a possible option to them. So I'm sure they would very much appreciate that. Dress for success, always. And then come in with a great attitude. That's what he says that they're looking for. So I think that's a really good tip. You really want to work, you show what you're made of. I think you got you got your foot in the door that way. So we're thrilled that he could join us here today on the briefing, and we're excited to have them in the area. This is going to be a great partnership.
Laura, can you give the date, the location and hours again for the job fair?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. It'll be tomorrow here at our office at 344 Salinas Street in downtown Salinas. The job fair will be upstairs in rooms number 205 and 206 from 2 to 5 p.m. So come on down if you're looking, or if you know someone who is looking. I think this is a great opportunity.
And the people who come, and James and Laura, you might, I'm not sure who wants to answer this, but people who are coming, they're going to be speaking directly to the Vallarta representatives who would be doing the hiring.
Yes.
That's correct. Yes.
Very exciting, you know, super exciting, and really looking forward to your grand opening, and really thrilled that you could partner, James, with our workforce development for this hiring process. It's just really fantastic.
Been a great opportunity for us, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you both. And any other questions before we let them go? Any questions for James or Laura? Anything about the job fair? You can put them in chat, or you can shout out your question. I think we've probably, looks like we covered everything. Thanks again very much for being here. Very exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And last but not least, we're going to do a little bit about Halloween. Halloween is just around the corner. Activities and fun have already started. Trick-or-treating is coming up on the 31st. Halloween is about spooky and fun, but there are some safety tips that we should all keep in mind as adults, and if we have youngsters in our household. We have BridgeAnne Davignon, who's a crime prevention specialist with our Monterey County Sheriff's Office. She's going to share some Halloween tips with us for people of all ages. Hi, BridgeAnne.
Hello, I'm BridgeAnne. Thank you for that introduction. I'm the crime prevention specialist with Monterey County Sheriff's Office, and part of my role entails social media and community outreach, as well as analyzing crime statistics. So today I'm going to share with you some important safety tips for Halloween. So I have compiled a list for adults, children, and teens, as well as parents. So for our adult group, the best advice would be Do not drink and drive. Many adults attend various social functions, so that's another important tip, is not to leave any food or drink unattended. Have situational awareness, have a designated driver, share location information with a friend or a family member, especially when you're using a taxi or rideshare service. A lot of these apps nowadays do that automatically. However, it's important to check in your settings to make sure you have that information turned on, as well as sharing that location perhaps in person or through a text message with your family. It's also important to know the license plate of the vehicle you're getting into and driver description, just as a safety precaution. For our parents, you can attend a community event hosted by your local law enforcement or any other of the reliable community organizations that you're familiar with or involved in. Beware of walking hazards when you're trick or treating, such as uneven pavement. Use the sidewalks, just other additional safety precautions so you don't get involved in car accidents or things like that nature. Don't walk between parked cars, and of course, look both ways before crossing the street. Avoid eating homemade treats from strangers and avoid giving these out unless you're giving them out to people you know. Check any items for choking hazards and or food allergies as well. In trick-or-treating bags, sometimes it's beyond food. There could be other various toys that people decide to give out. So just be wary of any choking hazards, especially for small children. Take a picture of the clothing or costume that your child is wearing and remember that costume in case, for some tragic reason, any parents might need to locate their child if they become lost. So it's good to be aware of what you are wearing, not just for children, but also for your friend group or family members. You can also supervise your children while trick-or-treating. Also, older teens could help aid in supervision of younger children. Keep pets safely inside or on a leash just in case you are a pet parent. And do not eat any treats for our children and teen group until they are examined by a parent or guardian. Check for any type of tampering. Many of these treats could look very similar to regular brands, so be wary of any dupes or mimics to actual legitimate branded candy. Notify any of your local law enforcement agencies if harmful items like drugs, weapons are found in your trick-or-treat bag. Do not enter a stranger's house or invite any trick-or-treaters into your residence. Carry a flashlight, visit well-lit areas, including decorated homes, homes with porch lights on. Avoid any costume props that have sharp points. And also, if you're wearing a mask or anything like that of that nature for Halloween, just keep in mind that some of these items may obscure your visual surroundings. So just be aware of any of those obstructions. And that's a lot of information. So if you can't remember that, the important thing to remember this Halloween is remember to ghost. So for our G letter, generate safety conversations with your family, friends, and children. Have situational awareness. Open and inspect Halloween candy and share your location with friends, family, and children. And also, I just realized my resource is not showing on the screen. So share your location with family, friends, and children. Have a safe and designated location as a meeting place. And most importantly, teach your family, friends, and children how to call 911 in case of an emergency. So remember to ghost this Halloween. In addition to those resources, we also plan on posting this on our social media. And other resources that we do give out at various events include booklets like this, something children friendly for various members of the community and the public. And also some of those events that Monterey County Sheriff's Office in particular will be attending is the Zombie Run. This is hosted by CAL FIRE in Pebble Beach. And these are some of the details. So that will be this Saturday, October 28th, 9 to 12 p.m. And within this zombie run, that's the fun component of the event. But there's also the more serious component, which is being an emergency preparedness fair. We plan on having our dive team there and giving out all these safety resources. And another event that we are also having is the Harvest Festival, and that will be hosted behind Compass Church in Salinas, and that's on 1044 South Main Street. And we will also be giving out safety resources there. Children who are within our Explorers program, that's a program in which our members of the public can join and do community service hours and get law enforcement experience. So they'll be doing some community outreach with us there as well. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And I do know that the county also recently shared their own compiled list of events that are happening throughout the county. On Halloween itself, Monterey County Sheriff's Office plans to be in attendance at the Trunk or Treat in King City. And that's all I have for you today. If you have any further questions or would like to screenshot information, feel free to do so.
Thanks so much, BridgeAnne. That's a great, great little resources there. And if you would send me those after this is over, we're going to share those with our media participants. One thing that you brought up this year was the first time I've ever heard it, which is taking a photograph of your child in their Halloween costume. That is a very interesting idea, because if you did lose your child and you said it's Spider-Man, that might be hard to describe because there could be a lot of them out there.
Yes, definitely. There could be a wide variety. So definitely pay attention to whatever clothing your children is wearing in costume or out of costume, as well as adults as well. It's important to know descriptions just in case anyone gets lost within your group.
Sure, and it also sounds like there's just a lot of common sense with these tips, and just attending events or activities that just are reliable, that are put on by people that you know, no kind of crazy wild cards.
Yes, definitely common sense rules, but they're definitely helpful, especially as a good reminder and as a reminder for any young parents out there.
Any questions for BridgeAnne before we let her go? We will be sending out her resource tips after the briefing. Seeing none, I think you've got it very well covered, BridgeAnne. Thanks very much for running through that with us today. And thanks everyone for joining us on the briefing this week. Our next briefing is next week. We'll see you then.